Martin Jones. Tell us about Chequers, because other than the fact that the British Prime Minister tends to reside there, what do you want to tell us all about?
Well, I'll let people know how they can look at the pictures first, so they can follow me through with the pictures, because there's a whole page of pictures showing Chequers and an ancient ridgeway, 6,000-year-old ridgeway, which is a pilgrimage route, a national treasure, and it's where the major ley lines in England go, and they all go straight through Chequers. But if you Google holographic breathing, right at the top of the page it should say free learn holographic breathing. If you click on that, and then if you go to the right hand side of the menu, it will say Chequers Sacred Site. If you click on that, first of all, there'll just be a great big picture showing this marvellous chalice shape, which is the ridgeway, which is where the ley lines run.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you've pulled that up, but anyway, it's that first big picture shows, I'm just pulling it up for myself. It shows the ridgeway making this lovely chalice shape, and it runs, and there's a square on it which shows the house at Chequers, and that is right at the centre of this chalice of the ridgeway, the ancient pathways, and the different ley lines. Now
you've seen Boris Johnson, no less, and local MPs about this, so this is very much a work in progress for you. I know you've been on this case for some time, Martin.
That is true. I mean, this is a sacred site. I've worked the energies there worked with the energies there for 6 years, and I travelled the whole ridgeway working with the different sacred sites along it. And for me, this site at Chequers is just as powerful as Avebury or Stonehenge or Glastonbury or anywhere along those ley lines. So I've personally enjoyed working with it, and I've started promoting it because nobody actually knows it's there. It's been hidden. Because it was either private land for a long time, and then the government was there, so it's all been sectioned off. Nobody can actually see it. But I used to park up. There's a little red circle called the Dell on the picture, and I used to park up there and do my videos teaching holographic breathing there, and this wonderful energy would pour through the van where I was recording and go straight across in front of Chequers. I'm thinking, oh, that's a really strong ley line. And then after a while I realised that it was actually the ridgeway, because I travelled along the ridgeway for years, and I recognised the energy. And it's not like you can hide the ridgeway, it's a physical thing, so you can see where it goes, and I mapped it out and the ancient ley lines, and it makes absolutely perfect chalice shape. And where it goes up onto Beacon Hill, this is to the left of Chequers, you get the chalice shape and the prayer shape pointing to the church at the bottom. And there's a tremendous energy comes down in the top of that hill. It's very, very interesting. It's, for me, it's I don't say this lightly because I don't feel it anywhere else, and I know it may sound a bit new age, but it always felt like the I don't know what the legends of King Arthur and the Round Table, because it had this quality of ancient Britain and right and just governance of a country. And at the front of Beacon Hill there's this natural circle in the ground, and at the winter solstice about 6 or 7 years ago I was just sitting there and this energy just poured in, and it was interesting. It came down as a group. You know, normally when I'm working with earth energies and spiritual energies there'll be one channel coming down in the middle, but this was like about 12 coming down, and then after a while they all turned into one bright light and poured down into the top of the hill. And for me, that is a bit like the Knights of the Round Table, where you've got 12 special energies coming together, and it is like a government, and so it's not really surprising to me that the Prime Minister has ended up there. I don't think it's good that it's been so sectioned off and people don't know it's there, but it isn't actually surprising, because for me, that energy that comes up down in Beacon Hill is to me, it's a bit like the spiritual governance of a country, and it deeply helpful for the true and proper governance of a country. And in a way, it's perfect that the Prime Minister is there, and also that we can work the energies there, because maybe if we can balance it and get all the energies running nicely and work with nature there, that maybe the Prime Minister starts feeling that and becomes more in tune with that. And
certainly BJ has indicated to you, because I know he's looked at many of your pictures and things. He seems to be quite in tune with looking at what you're talking about, Martin.
Yeah, no, that is true. The local newspapers put out loads of articles and my pictures, and I was quite taken aback, because I wasn't expecting such a big opening from the Prime Minister and the local MP. I went to the local MP and I was truly expecting him just to poo-poo the whole thing, because I was asking for access to Chequers. If people are looking at that picture, there's a pink dot in front of Chequers, and that is that is the lowest point between the two hills and is a central energy centre, and I wanted access to that on the solstices and the equinoxes. And I went to the local MP, and when I got there, he had printed out all of the pictures, and he was sitting there with a big smile on his face, and he said, I hear you want access to Chequers 4 times a year. And I told him my story of how I'd found it and mapped it out, and I told him about the energies, and I kept on looking at him to check, because he seemed so interested. He already knew about the Ridgeway and the spiritual relevance of it. He knew about ley lines, and when I was talking about the chalice shape and the prayer shape, he understood it all and the energies. And I wasn't expecting that. And afterwards he said he was truly inspired by what I'd said, and I wasn't expecting that at all.
Right.
And he took
Martin go out there and go home.
Yeah, and he said he could see no problem with us going there 4 times. I did mention it'd be nice if the public could have access, but he said that probably wouldn't be possible at this stage, but he could see no problem with a group of healers going there and working, and he could understand, because it hadn't been walked, the Ridgeway, you got to understand, this whole Ridgeway is a pilgrimage route, and it picks up its energy by people walking it.
Yes.
And that hasn't been walked, so he could understand the importance of a group of healers walking up and down that area that hadn't been walked and doing ceremonies to the land. He could understand that. And he said, he would talk to the Chequers Trust, and he would personally take all of the pictures. This was David Liddington. He would take all of the pictures, which everyone can see on that page, the pictures of the different hills, the sites, different ley lines, to Boris Johnson. But since that time, David has retired. There's been an election, and I haven't heard back, so I'm going to go and see the new MP this week, and the local newspaper are going to do another article this week.
Fantastic, Martin. So when is the next occasion that you will be at the energy centres at Chequers? When is the next? Is it an equinox or
what? I'll be running one. We'll be going up to Beacon Hill in about a month. I go up there a lot, but I invite people to come with me once a month. So Saturday gone was the last time. If you look down the pictures, it's got a picture of us all up there on the winter solstice. It doesn't show everyone. That is the bottom half of the circle on Beacon Hill where people are sitting, and we sat around the whole of the circle. But in about
the next one up surely will be around about the time that the clocks go forward, won't it?
I'm not sure what a month is. It'll be a month, 4 weeks from last Saturday, and then the one after that will be on the equinox, which will be about when the clocks are turning. So there'll be one between now and the equinox, and one directly on the
where can people find all this information, Martin? What's your website?
Well, the website is holographic-breathing.com.
Right, that's www.holographic breathing
with a dash in the middle of the line.
holographic-breathing.com.
That's me. And on the last page to the right, you've got all the stuff about Chequers. And there's a webinar page, because we just ran a webinar